Hello everybody, my name is Arnab Chakraborty. I lead the analytics business in Accenture for Austria, Switzerland and Germany. It's a great opportunity for all of us to be here together. Today in the session, in the next 30 minutes, we are going to actually bring to life some of the key trends that we are seeing in the space of analytics and big data with our clients across multiple organizations. And I think we have a great opportunity to actually hear about the story that E.ON is driving, and I have my friend Ken Bell, who is our client, and the drive that he is making with digital and analytics within E.ON and completely reshaping the organization. We will hear that today as part of this presentation. So quickly, moving to some of the trends that we are seeing. Analytics is a fast-moving space, and I think we have been hearing about that from the morning today. Let me see if I can move my slides here. Okay. So I think some of the key trends that we are seeing is really the whole space of analytics with the data explosion. The democratization of the data is becoming a big focus across the organizations. Business decision makers wants the data in their hands, wants to analyze it in their own way in a self-servicing manner in real time. And they want to get immersed in that decision-making process with help of data and insights. I think that's a very important trend that we are seeing at the C-suite level as well as at an operating manager level. What we are also seeing is that organizations are looking at how do I take the data and not just understand what's happening in the past and what is happening now, but how we can start looking at the future, predicting what's going to happen next. And the whole focus around data science, advanced analytics, machine learning, using all of these new techniques that are available, how can we actually drive business outcomes? And this is a space where Accenture has been investing very strongly. We have gone through this journey over the last 10 years as an organization, both globally and now investing that in Germany. What we are also seeing is that with the whole shift around getting the monetization opportunities, the business outcomes from structured and unstructured data, there's a lot of focus around hybrid architectures, which means how do I take care of the complexity that I have in my current IT, legacy IT, but how I can start bringing in the new architecture, the Hadoop-based architecture, more open source, and coexist that with the legacy IT. I was at the Mobile World Congress for the last 2-3 days in Barcelona, and this was a key theme that I was hearing, meeting with all the top CIOs across the various companies, and how do I manage the complexity of my legacy IT, but bring over the top, the new architecture that helps me harness the power of big data and start showing, outcomes in a very agile way. And with that comes the challenge around the talent and the skills, which is very unique in this space, which brings in a combination of data scientists, business acumen, visualization experts, data engineers, and that makes the whole space even much more exciting and challenging. So in terms of organizations, the key trends that we are seeing of how organizations are applying analytics is really along this journey of defending the core, differentiating themselves, and disrupting the marketplace. And why is that happening? Because what we are seeing is that the customer expectations are very liquid. And by that, what I mean is that what was good today, or what was good yesterday is no longer good tomorrow, because it is not about the size. It is not about the big size of corporates that will always hold our position, but new entrants are coming with the power of data and insights, creating new business models and disrupting the marketplace. What Uber has done, what WhatsApp has done, what Airbnb has done, these are completely new business models that are powered by data-driven approaches. And that's completely creating a new level of customer sophistication, customer expectations, and the existing business models don't hold good in that manner. So how, as an organization, I use my data to anticipate what's going to happen in the marketplace? How do I use that to make my entire operations and business functions more agile? And from there, I defend my core, but then using that insight to create new products, new services that are innovative in the marketplace and creates that distinctive and differentiated customer experience, to converting that into new business models that disrupts my entire industry. From becoming, from being a truck manufacturer as an example, how can I actually provide services that makes the driver more effective? How from making manufacturing devices in the medical industry to becoming a solution provider that improves the effectiveness of physicians and increases the outcomes from therapy. That's the shift that we are talking about when it comes to disruption. And as an organization, how you can do that, leveraging data, leveraging insights, and creating that market leadership. So what is it that organizations are doing to make that happen is using the platform approach. This is a big trend that we are seeing, where we are actually talking about platform as a service to provide analytics at scale, which is fast, which is easy, which is flexible, which is scalable, which can ride on top of the legacy IT infrastructure that I have, which is non-invasive, which can start showing business value within couple of months, few weeks, and not it taking another multi-million-dollar investments which goes on for the next 12 months. This is a big shift that we are seeing. What we are also seeing is that there is opportunity for creating vertical industry solutions on top of these platforms that addresses specific business issues, drive specific business outcomes. What it also enables is keeping the complexity behind. As I talked about the over-the-top, keeping the complexity behind, because the new technologies that are available from an analytics perspective, from cognitive computing perspective, machine learning perspective, they all can actually ride on over-the-top architectures. And what it means is that you have a better technology to sense, to predict, to anticipate, and optimize, but at the same time, the underlying, the legacy IT, you don't have to touch that. You don't have to get yourself stopped because of the complexity of the legacy architecture. And that's the big opportunity. And I think with the advancements in technologies around machine learning, deep learning, the supervised, unsupervised, learning approaches that are available today in the marketplace, it helps organizations to go down that path very, very quickly. One of the examples, I wanted to share, we have been working with a very interesting client in Asia, and they're focusing in making paper and pulp. And for them, their big operations is around the forests that they have. 100,000 hectares of, forest land that they have to manage and to understand the quality of the tree production. And this is a very, very manual process, very labor-intensive process, very expensive process. With millions of trees growing, how do you keep a tab on the growth of the tree, the quality of the tree, and make sure that you are able to do that in a manner that month on month you have a good predictability of what is going to be the yield and its impact on the quality of paper and pulp that you produce. And this organization took this as a transformation approach to initiate digital, and all the analytics technologies and techniques to attack this business problem. And they have actually deployed. Right now you can see some of the statistics here in terms of the number of effort it takes from a man-year perspective to do all of that at scale, the amount of time it takes to actually get some of the data in place, and at speed at which you can do it. What they did was they actually deployed drones that could fly over the forest land, the live images being taken through the drones, and then adapting advanced analytics and machine learning techniques that will help analyze that image and mimic the way a human eye would do using cognitive computing and artificial intelligence to actually figure out from the vast spread of the trees, identify which of the tree locations and the clusters of trees where you have low growth, high growth based on image data, based on the different clustering that you are able to do, and then do that in a real time. Also, complement that with the sensor information that's coming from the soil, humidity, is coming from the temperature, and also the fertilizer, penetration that we have in the soil, giving, triangulating all of that insight and making really, the art of the possible, where you can have very precise information about which part of the forest you need to actually put attention in terms of providing the right kind of treatment, right kind of interventions, and improving the effectiveness of the field force that is deployed in that forest land to make sure that the overall yield is maximized. They implemented the platform as a service concept with the analytics insight platform. The speed was phenomenal. With so many millions of trees, we can analyze within less than a couple of hours the kind of data that is getting processed at speed, at scale, and doing that in a very, very cost-effective manner. And what led to, from a business outcome perspective, was some of these analysis that was taking so much of time. We could actually do it probably 1/100th of that time frame. The amount of human personnel that is required to do this on a manual basis is just not possible. Yeah, and you can do it, at 7 times the scale of, the coverage of the number of forests. You can actually start showing in the speed at which these kind of insights can be generated, and then the actions that can be taken out of this. So the whole concept around being fast, being flexible, being scalable, and driving transformation, for this organization, they are actually now deploying data scientists, data engineers for driving this in the hardcore operations, and which for them is the new way of showing how digital and analytics can change the pace at which you run your business. So with that, I wanted to invite Ken and talk about the amazing journey that he has been driving at E.ON. So Ken, over to you.
Thank you, Arnab. The remote, please. So hi, my name is Ken Bell. I'm actually working for E.ON Business Services in the IT department as a strategy and architecture, in the strategy and architecture team responsible for information management. That is actually similar to an enterprise architect role, and I'm responsible for all the big data and analytics technologies being used in E.ON, especially in the digital area. So just a short overview about E.ON. You might have witnessed in the newspaper articles recently that we have transformed ourselves from a fully integrated energy utility company covering the whole value chain to and split now to 2 different companies. One is Uniper, you might have heard, which is now focusing on all the traditional conventional energy production topics and energy trading, and E.ON itself is now focusing on 3 basic areas, that is renewables, customer solutions, and the distribution business. So in that area, as we've heard this morning by Mr. Streibach, digital transformation or digital disruption is one of the key challenges where we together with Accenture are now facing the challenge of the competitors entering the market to actually defend our position, as Arnab presented in the beginning, but also progress towards disruptive new business models. So nevertheless, I mean, big data is around, I would say, 10 to 15 years in technology perspective. Nevertheless, it was not so easy for us as a company to introduce those new technologies which allow us to actually pursue and do the transformation, the digital transformation. One reason is, for example, that it is a infrastructure critical company, a business, providing energy to our customers, to the industry, to different production environments is crucial to us as a country, and not in Germany, but across Europe. The second point is that to be able to deliver energy and to operate the big power plants, we had to have engineers in the company which actually did big data analytics for 20, 25 years, especially in the trading area. You can imagine, I'm pretty sure, doing highly efficient trading is kind of analytical, interesting problem. So right now, with the recent energy revolution introduced a couple of years back, where you know of Fukushima, which even put fuel into the fire, we were now facing the situation to come up with new business models, and this digital transformation is now allowing us to also bring in new skills, new technologies to actually manage that. And right now, today, I'm just briefly introducing to you a case study of how we did that. So, as Mr. Streibach also mentioned, and Arnab as well, bringing or understanding the customer much better is one of our key challenges we also try to address in one area. So the CSC is actually our so-called customer self-care portal, where we try to get in contact with the customer much more frequent than in the past. I mean, imagine yourselves, how many contacts do you have to your utility company per year? It's usually just one. You have to enter the annual metering value, and that's it. How do we actually generate additional business from that? That is one of the key challenges. So we want to understand what our customer do, how they are doing it, and why are they doing it, to actually improve the services much better and offer new services to the customer. So, as mentioned today, that is one of the sources for big data in our company as well right now, the digital transformation, the digital journey data, customer interaction points, and so on, that led to the invention or introduction of the so-called operational data store concept, which is a Hadoop cluster we deployed together with Accenture in a cloud-based environment to actually have leverage the speed and the agility to do upscaling and downscaling, on an enterprise level. The main use cases we see currently for such a Hadoop cluster, at least in that area of the digital transformation, is this already mentioned personalization, to do omnichannel customer tracking, to introduce, based on that data and the insights, then new business services, to provide analytical capabilities to the whole company who has not been already involved in the trading or engineering part, but also to do some data store consolidation. I mean, in the end, for sure, we are still under pressure from an income perspective. We need to consolidate in various areas also to save some money and to free up that money for new stuff as well. So, I mean, the key capabilities I already mentioned. We have a Hadoop cluster, we have it in a cloud environment, so we can easily speedily increase the capacity of the cluster, just a few mouse clicks. It's very flexible. We can store structured data, we can store unstructured data, we can do processing of that data. And from Hadoop itself, we have scalability. And what is really, really important nowadays, and what is a big challenge, or has been a big challenge, is actually the independence from our large, big legacy systems that almost each company, big company has in operation already, which are not so flexible for coming or implementing the new business services. So the ODS actually helps us now to do a combination, an individualized combination on a single customer level, more or less in real time, to do personalized offerings in the web, where we combine selected data from the backend world. I mean, for sure, contract data, customer interaction data we have in the CRM system and the billing systems, but actually knowing what to do is important in the way of analyzing the touch points we had, the online journey, and then come up with new ideas. On the other hand, we also provide that data and a feedback cycle to the analyst teams to come up with new ideas, who will develop then also new models which we implement on the data store. So, I mean, I already mentioned the basic technology. It's a Hadoop cluster, but in the end, it's still not very profoundly new what we did here. I mean, in the end, it's about ingesting data to a data store, do some mass processing, and then provide the insight or the results back to the channels which will work on it. As you can imagine, E.ON is a big company, around 15 to 20 years, so there are some already built-in structures, I would say, from a political perspective. Everybody wants to keep to his home turf and is trying to prevent new introduction of new technologies. So we came up with a pretty straightforward, nevertheless quite successful model of how to introduce the operational data store and the technologies. First of all, we just said, okay, build the foundation, enable the basic technologies, bring everybody on up to speed. Then in the next step, bring in some data from the backend systems, integrate with some data from the online channels, for example, and do a stepwise increase until we can later then, and we are right in the middle of the implementation, do advanced analytics on top of that, even in real time, to address the customer personalized. So basically, now just coming to the conclusion, I think the digital transformation is about more or less like three things. One thing is the do-learn-do approach. So we have to focus on value creation when we use big data analytics technologies. And I think this is, especially in a large enterprise, always interesting to come up with agile methodology for implementation of those projects. So the iterative approach is like, don't do it in one big step, just increase it, as I showed earlier, stepwise. Then the other part is use what is already available. I mean, I think it was Mr. Streiber said about reuse assets that somebody else already have deployed. So industrialize the speed, the IT more or less, like we do it with the PaaS environment in the cloud, and that's basically it. It helps us to focus on what really increases our value, or hopefully where we can be disruptive to the market. And last but not least, it's about sustaining the change. So bring the analytics in a big company and a big enterprise to a level where everybody understands what the opportunities are, but also the analytics will help them to operationalize the decision processes, for example. And I think one point, especially Arnab always likes to mention, is identify champions to actually help in that project. I mean, it's about a mindset you need to have in that area when it comes to digital transformation. You need people who are inspired, who understand digital, who are eager to try something new, something disruptive, even inside the company, which is not always easy. I mean, you can imagine certain stakeholders try to protect their home turf, and nevertheless, it needs some hard work sometimes and some very frustrating discussions in the end. Sorry if I'm being blunt here, but I think that's the reality.